Hey everybody, Alex Kazora, SteelersDepot.com, back with some Pittsburgh Steelers tape breakdown and analysis, and Omar Khan keeping us very busy on this normally pretty uneventful Friday here in mid-April, adding two players to the roster, one official, one soon to come, but Tanner Muse, we talked about on the YouTube channel early Friday morning, and then Braden Mann, who's been claimed off waivers, the punter, formerly of the New York Jets. So you guys know me. I love special teams. And heck yes, we're going to dive into some special teams tape. We'll start here with Tanner Muse, the linebacker, really kind of core special teamer, multi-phase guy. And getting into his tape here, we'll go back to the 2022 season. And down here at the bottom is Tanner Muse aligned as R1. And so the way that you designate and call kick coverage players is to the right of the kicker is R, to the left of the kicker is going to be L, and you work outside in. And so you have L1 out here, R1 out here, and then you work inside. So L1, L2, L3, L4, L5, kicker, R5, R4, R3, R2, R1. And so there's Tanner Muse. Typically, you see a smaller player like a corner or safety as the R1 or L1 because they're generally more contained guys, but you're going to see Muse make a big play here. So let's finally get into the tape here. Muse running this one down against the Broncos. Unblocked, to be fair. And so coverage guys certainly look good when nobody even looks their way, but you see Muse do a great job here to come to balance, make the tackle, and really pin Denver deep. Inside their 15-yard line, really close to the 10-yard line. And so Muse making a big special teams tackle there. Former safety at Clemson, really more of a linebacker at the NFL level, but has, really more specifically become a special teams guy with over 200 snaps on special teams last year. And so there is Muse running down, being able to come to bounce here at the end, and then a great wrap tackle. And again, big job there to pin this Broncos offense back that obviously had struggled so much. So you force those guys to go even further. That's a big win. Here we're going to see Muse aligned as L1. So the furthermost outside player to the left of the kicker. And so that's going to be L1. And that's going to be Tanner Muse later in this game against Denver. So on the kick here, again, going down, making the tackle, pinning Denver deep. This time he is going to get blocked here. But comes off the block and helps make this tackle. Some other good special teams play from Seattle. It's a unit thing. One good special teamer does not make a good unit overall. And so you see him down here work off this block and help make this tackle a little less impactful, a little less impressive than the first clip. But again, just pinning teams back inside their 25. That's always a big win for a coverage unit. Whenever we talk about special teamers, we often discuss them as, are they core guys? Are they multi-phase type of guys? And those are the most valuable ones who often make 53-man rosters because of what they offer on special teams. And so just going through the tape, identifying Muse and seeing him play on different units and different positions. So kick return game, he's on it, of course. There he is right here. I'm not even sure exactly what you call some of these frontline guys, but there is Tanner Muse on this play. Not going to call this a tremendous rep overall, but just to kind of highlight the versatility. It's a tough job, obviously. You're trying to block out there and all that kind of space. Can't totally tell where the ball's at, where the return man is at, but just identifying this guy's lining up in a bunch of different places. Continuing that theme, here he is on the punt team, on the punt rush team here, and so you see him wearing a lot of hats, and that's what you're going to want to see, especially after losing a lot of guys who were 200, 300 snap special teams players, and Benny Snell and Miles Boykin, Derek Watt, Marcus Allen, releasing Jameer Jones. Some of those guys could come back in Boykin and Snell, but it's good to have some veteran players who've been in the league and not relying on rookies and guys who have not been in that role before, and guys that have tape of them lining up basically in all four phases. And Muse is on the punt coverage team. And here he is as the left tackle on this unit. So left tackle, left guard, center, right guard, right tackle, your two wings, and your personal protector or up back, whatever you want to call it, with your two gunners. And so you see Muse on that unit as well. Nothing really of note here in this clip, but just seeing the alignment, watching him, work all over the place. And so you see him at that left guard spot. And I just want to show you guys here really quickly if we go to Pittsburgh. And if you look at Pittsburgh and who was aligned at left tackle last season, even late in the year against Baltimore, it is Robert Spillane, who is now a member of the Las Vegas Raiders, no longer part of this team. And really to highlight the point, the number of special team guys you see on the field on this particular snap who are no longer Steelers: Spillane, Jameer Jones, Derek Watt, Benny Snell, Watt, Snell, currently free agents, may come back. Snell probably more likely than Watt. But those are the pieces you're losing, the snaps that you're losing. And so not that playing left guard, means you can't play right guard on this team. It's not even like offensive line. You can make that transition. So Muse playing left guard alone doesn't necessarily mean he's a one-to-one replacement for Spillane, but you're just trying to figure out, okay, who are we losing? What snaps are we losing? Generally speaking, what did they play? Were they personal protector? Were they a gunner? Were they a jammer? Kick coverage, kick return, those kinds of things. And so you're seeing Muse being able to fill that gap. One last look at Muse in terms of real tangible punt coverage ability. This is a separate game against the Arizona Cardinals, and there he is at that left tackle spot that we just spoke about, running down and making this tackle off the boot by really good punter Michael Dixon. There is Tanner Muse running this down, keeping contained, forcing this one to the inside, and then a nice heavy hit there to drop the return man. We'll look at it from the aerial view. There is going to be the helmet of Tanner Muse, again, at that left tackle spot. Leaving basically is a timer. You can kind of hear the sound of the football, probably leaving actually a bit before that. And then you're going to see Muse come down and make the tackle right there. And he's got that size, being that, safety linebacker hybrid, although you really don't hope or expect him to play much, if any, on defense. But he has that frame overall to be that heavy hitter that's going to take down small return men like on this play. And you can't forget about the punter, Braden Mann, claimed off of waivers from the Jets, former 6th-round pick, big leg coming out of Texas A&M. And you're going to see the leg here and the placement overall, although it kind of gets a very fortunate bounce. But I like to think punters can control that spin, that bounce a little bit at least. So against Chicago in 2022, return man lets it go. And look at where this one sits, right at that 1-yard line. And that is as good of a punt as you could ask for from your guy. And so, man, has had a good average. The book on him coming out of school was a really big leg, would occasionally outkick his coverage unit, and it hurts his net. Actually, his net average was worse last year than Presley Harvin. Now, that's a coverage stat, that's a unit stat, and one, big return can, skew that number unfavorably to the punter. So, it's only one piece of the puzzle in terms of gross average and net average. You look at hang time and consistency and technique and cold weather games, all those types of things. But you're seeing a guy that has a big leg and a guy that can, place the ball inside the 5. Also handle kickoffs throughout most of his career in college and in the NFL. Didn't have that role full-time last year. That was Greg the Leg Zierlein that was doing some of that. I do wonder if, hypothetically, Mann would have become the Steelers punter in 2023, if he would take over that role from Chris Boswell, maybe to save Boswell's body a bit, getting a bit older, in his 30s, had some injury issues in 2018 famously, or infamously, and then last season as well. Maybe that could save Bos a little bit. I imagine trying to, boot the crap out of the football consistently for touchbacks or, inside the end zones, probably not great on a body if it's already hurting to begin with. So just more you can do, the more value that you have, and you see that there from Braden Mann. Also, back in 2020, he had 4 tackles, and so he's the guy that can offer a little bit in terms of, hopefully you never have to use him, but if you had somebody in open space, he can probably, give you something a bit more there as well, even through a pass in 2022. Maybe I can pull that clip for you guys. All right, here is the clip in week 2 of the 2022 season against the Cleveland Browns. 17-yard completion for Braden Mann. Going to throw this one out route to the gunner at the top here, and a nice throw from Braden Mann. Obviously, you're not, making this signing with the intent or focusing or caring really much at all about what he can do with his arm, but you do have that on tape. I know that was the conversation with Harvin when he came out of Georgia Tech. He threw a long touchdown pass against the U, and so you just have that in your back pocket. If you ever wanted to get tricky, got a good matchup, that's a pretty good throw. And heck, you have only 2 quarterbacks you can roster, so I'm really joking here, tongue in cheek. Although there was that Jets punter back in early 2000. What was his name? I might have to edit back in. Tom Tupa, was that his name, that replaced Vinny Testaverde and played quarterback, and just kind of one of those quirky fun facts. He was a quarterback in college, but I'm rambling at this point, as you guys can see with Mann. I didn't get to do a super in-depth report on him, but just seeing the background, going through a couple of clips here. He's versatile, kickoff specialist, good leg. Just has to maybe work on consistency, hang time a little bit. I know those are some Harvin's issues as well, but That is the competition. Those guys will battle it out. No guarantee that Mann will make this team, will be this team starting punter, but I like the competition between him and Harvin. That has been the theme of the offseason for Omar Khan. Competition, competition, competition at a lot of different places, and more names to be added here in the draft. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Appreciate you guys watching. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would really appreciate that. And hopefully all the special team nerds out there like me enjoyed this one. We have a lot of content coming up for you guys. My final mock draft, and also our Walk the Mock live draft part 2 we'll be doing here in the very near future. Be sure to stick with the channel. I'll be announcing that here shortly and a lot more on the way. So appreciate you guys watching, and we'll talk to you soon.